All right, everyone, before we get into week 2 and how I did my first week of duck hunting this season, I just want to ask for a favor of everyone out there. If you can just click and subscribe down below to my YouTube channel, it's a great help. You'll get emails when I post new videos, really not a lot of spam or anything like that coming through. So if you can just do a big help for me and click subscribe down below, that would be great. So anyway, week 2 of my New Jersey duck hunting video series here. Week 1 was interesting. We had opening day up in the North Zone, and as I expected, it was pretty crowded. That's usually what happens on opening day, especially with mild weather. When the weather's more mild, you're gonna get a lot of people that aren't really the hardcore duck hunters out there, and it just makes it for a much more crowded and kind of stressful experience. So with the experience that I have in doing this for quite a long time, I did the wonderful thing of working a full week at my job, coming home from work on Friday night, getting all my hunting gear together, and then getting up at 12:45 a.m. to get on the road to get to the ramp for somewhere around 2 in the morning. So I ended up being the second truck at the ramp that morning. Now it worked out well because I knew the people that were there first, and here's a little inside thing on, running and rushing to get to spots and your competition between duck hunters and everything. We all know it exists, but let me give you a little insight on those of us who've been doing it a long time and how we handle these things. So I'm the second truck to the ramp. The first guys are there. I get in behind them in line. They have all their gear ready to go. And I have a discussion with them. I say, hey guys, I'm friendly. You don't have to be a jerk at the ramp at 2 in the morning because you're in competition trying to get all these great spots. I mean, they're wild ducks. They're gonna go wherever they're gonna go. It's not necessarily one spot's better than the other in certain situations. So I have a friendly discussion with them. I say, hey, you guys are here first. Where are you thinking about going? And then we can split up. Okay, you're gonna go here, I'll go over there. That way, if by some amazing thing on opening day, no one else shows up, we can push birds around between us. And then if I have an idea of like, oh, well, I want to go here and they're gonna be there, they were there first. That's just the golden rule. Do unto others as you would want done to you. So having that discussion and being friendly with the other people at the boat ramp is going to help you out so much by keeping the stress levels low and not having all this agita about racing people to spots and things like that. Just be friendly, be considerate, be polite, and it's gonna go really far for you when it comes to success. So anyway, I'm up. I hunted my North Zone spot, 2 in the morning, got into one of the spots I wanted to hunt. And come shooting light, there were a lot of birds moving around, but I did have some guys that set up kind of close to me. It's all right, it is what it is. And it kind of messed up some opportunities I had, but hey, that's opening day, it's New Jersey. It is what it is, So anyway, here's a couple little clips from opening day. I ended up getting a couple green-winged teal and a gadwall. I missed some other opportunities. Again, no big deal. I was just happy to be out. It's been a long off season. So this is actually an interesting clip if you listen to the audio closely, because you can hear the teal that I shoot falling and actually landing on the bow of the boat. That's a pretty efficient way to not have to retrieve your birds very far. Opening day, get a couple birds, it's all good. Spoke to the warden back at the boat ramp, went through all my safety checks. Again, I like seeing the wardens. Some people get nervous. Same thing like with meeting other duck hunters at the boat ramp. Be friendly, be outgoing. If they see that you're doing something wrong, hey, that's on you. But I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so it's nice to kind of put them at ease. It's a tough job. So if they, see that you're friendly and you kind of know what you're doing, they're going to be, nice back to you. Or at least that's the experience that I've had. Your mileage may vary. I got out one more time for the first week in North Zone. I did a little hunt before work Friday, and I actually did pretty well. I didn't see a lot of birds, but what I did see worked me nicely, and what came in, I killed. I got 3 green-winged teal, a wood duck that must have been lost because I don't see many wood ducks in the area that I was hunting, and I ended up shooting a black duck and a mallard. So I actually got my 6-bird limit of puddle ducks before I went into work that morning. So in my book, that's a great day. Cannot complain about that one bit. So now I talked about in my first video trying to decide what kind of decoys I was going to bring. And for my first opening day hunt, I knew there were a lot of gadwalls in the area, so I took my gadwall decoys. And sure enough, I ended up harvesting a gadwall. Now there were also a bunch of teal around, so I want to make sure to have some teal decoys. Now I have some nice cork decoys and things like that, some teal that I mix in, but to make your spread a little bit bigger, you can't really go wrong with the economical pricing of plastics. So these are some Avian X green-winged teal. They kind of have this soft feel to them, and they work pretty well. So I had my green-winged teal out for opening day, and then I like to mix in here and there some black duck decoys. And you'll see in my next hunt that I did, I used a lot more of these black duck decoys. Now here's a little decoy spread secret that I'm going to give to you. I don't like running a lot of motion decoys, but what I will run are a few of these. This is a fully flocked foam mallard decoy. I have a couple of these. It's really nice. You have that flocking so it doesn't shine or anything. But the real secret in this is this river keel. So it's a long keel and you attach down here. And what that does is when you put out a bunch of decoy line and you have it in a current, this decoy is going to swim in an S. And it's going to put off a big wake. And as anyone who duck hunts knows, you want to have that motion in your spread and you want to have ripples on the water with your decoys. It just makes it that much more realistic. So I got out twice for North Zone for the first week. And then as anyone who hunts here in New Jersey knows, the second week of duck season is the opening day of South Zone. So our South Zone opened this past Saturday, which I'm filming this on a Sunday. That was yesterday. And I was able to get my dad out with me for South Zone opening day, which is great. I love hunting with him. Been hunting with him obviously my whole life. He's taught me everything I know. So having him in the boat with me is just makes even a slow day great. And as you'll see, we had a pretty slow day for opening day of South Zone. So it was nice to have the company. So as you'll see, we kind of had a slower day for opening day of South Zone. I thought it was gonna be a lot better than it was. I guess there just weren't a lot of birds around in the area yet, which with the mild weather we've been having could be expected. I just thought we'd see a lot more wood ducks in the area, and I was kind of disappointed. We only saw a few little groups, really didn't have anything give us much of an opportunity, but we were able to harvest a couple black ducks, and I was lucky in that the second bird that came into the morning, I was able to harvest a banded black duck. So this is the banded black duck, and this is a great example of using the sun to your advantage. We're back down in the shadow here. So as you can see, the decoys in the opposite bank are in the bright sunlight, and the boat and us are hiding back in the shadow. Now the Roy boat hides pretty well to begin with, but this bird never even knew we were there. When that happens, everything slows down, and you can get the gun up, get everything lined up, and make a nice shot. So it was really a nice treat to shoot a banded bird on the third hunt of the season. I mean, I typically average maybe one banded bird a year, and to get that average out of the way right off the bat is pretty special. So this bird, as I came to find out, was banded locally in the Cape May area about 2 years ago. The duck is actually about 5 years old. It was a drake, and so they banded that bird in the wintertime, so I'm not quite sure if it migrated from another area, and this is its wintering area, or if it's just a local bird in general. But pretty cool. Also, what was pretty unique about this is I had shot a banded bird in the same general area a couple years ago, and it was banded in the same area as this one, and the digits on the band itself are only off by about 200 numbers, which is pretty wild when you think about it. So anyway, kind of a slower day for first day of South Zone, but you know what? It's really good to be out. It was good to be out with my dad. Nice to be down in the salt marsh again and just be out in nature. And that's what it's all about. You know, we can't limit out every time. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the piles. It's just about getting out there in nature, watching the birds work, and tricking a few into giving up. So on next week's episode, I'm going to go over a couple things. I've had some requests about showing some different gear that I use and some different tactics and how I handle some things hunting in the wonderful state of New Jersey. So I'm going to try to go through and answer some people's questions, and hopefully I can get out a couple more times, maybe before work, for this first week of South Zone. So thanks everybody for watching, and don't forget to please subscribe.